Welcome back. Here we are, part 2. We're still at B. We're gonna keep going and really reveal just how bad I am with money. And we're gonna start the timer. The timer has been started, and we're gonna go. Brazil! This is an amazing movie. Do I need to explain anything else? This is where Terry Gilliam's vision comes into full force and really into full focus. It has his sense of humor, it has his zaniness and the world building. It's not a movie that, I don't think it's a movie that anybody's gonna get in the first viewing. Like, it really kind of takes multiple viewings, at least for me, it took multiple viewings to get to the point where I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty damn good. And, I mean, come on. There's like, what's happening to my digestive system? There's the director's cut here. There's like multiple versions of it. The What is Brazil documentary, which is also just like on regular DVDs and whatnot. But there's also like the Battle of Brazil, the documentary on, the film's release, which is going to be interesting, which is not something that's on the regular DVDs. And there's a 94-minute version of this movie? I did not know that. There's like a happy ending version of this film, but that, I'm not sure if I necessarily want to see the whole of that. Maybe if I have the time, maybe I'll just watch the ending just to see what happens. I can kind of guess what happens. Maybe they get rid of that the last twist bit of the movie, because that's really what makes the whole thing really dark. I mean, yeah, I don't care about the fact that I don't mind the fact that they use this image as the cover, because that image, come on, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great. Man, really think about it, man. When you watch this movie, can you honestly think of another film where there are many movies like this, but, well, not that many movies actually. There aren't that many movies where the director clearly has full control, and he's really throwing all of his ideas that he's getting for the film, and almost all of the ideas work. This is really like a full vision of an idea here, and this is a director who knew what he was kind of doing, even as chaotic as the film is. Even if he says that he didn't know what he was doing, this show, the movie kind of says otherwise. Yeah, it's a 2-disc thing, which just means there's more content for me to waste my life on. Yeah. Oh yeah, wasting my life on movies. Breathless. It's great. It's Godard. I think it's his first movie. Or at least it's his first feature-length film. I mean, what can you say? Probably the most important movie ever? Maybe? Kinda. It's in the top 10 for sure, when it comes to just how much it revolutionized just visual storytelling in every way, shape, or form. The way it basically just deconstructed the idea of like criminal romance in films. And it's just really cool. It looks so cool. I'll never smoke in my whole life, but it looks so cool. Whenever Jean Belmondo is smoking a cigarette, you're just like, God damn, he looks amazing. I wish I could look that cool when I'm smoking, but I probably don't. I probably look like a fucking loser who's about to get lung cancer in about 30 years. So I won't smoke, but this movie is still amazing. And I mean, come on, video essays, an 80-minute documentary, an 80-minute French documentary. I can practice my French with this goddamn thing about the making of the movie. Oh, so he made a short film in 1959, and it's on this Blu-ray. It's pretty good. I actually bought this at a really cheap price. I probably bought it at like half price at some place. I'm not sure if this is used. It does look really new, but I'm not sure why they were selling it for such a cheap price. I checked it. It does work, so I'm not really sure. I guess it was just a bargain for me. Yeah, that was Breathless, and this is the last of the bees. We're finally getting away from the bees. Not the bees. Broadcast news. I'm gonna say it. Probably the most underrated movie from the 80s. Easily the most underrated comedy from the 80s. This movie is so good. James L. Brooks. This should have been the movie where he should have won all the Oscars for being such a great director slash writer. Like, it shouldn't have been Terms of Endearment. Terms of Endearment, it's a good film. It's a touching movie. It's a very sad film. It works for what it is, but it's very emotionally manipulative at times. It's very melodramatic. I guess that's the word I'm trying to find here. But this is so character driven. It is so funny in a way that's subtle at times. It really shows why he was the producer for The Simpsons or The Critic and all those great shows. That sense of humor that he has really shows in this film. And Holly Hunter's performance here is so good. And I love Albert Brooks. And I love films like Modern Romance and like Lost in America. It's Lost in America, right? Yeah, it's Lost in America. All those movies, they're all great. Especially Modern Romance, which is totally going to come to Criterion at a certain point. But this is his best performance. Just because of how self-destructive and whiny and it's so human. Like, there's never a moment where you're just like, oh, this is such a movie character. No, like, he's so human in this movie. And he's basically playing himself again, like in any of his other movies. And I'm not a big fan of William Hurt. I don't like his acting, but he's really good in this film. This is really the movie where I kind of went, wow, William Hurt, I'm not sure if he's a terrible actor or if he's really subtle, but here he's really subtle. That's the thing that I took away from his performance here. And like the work environment that they created, it all feels so real. It all feels so. It doesn't really feel like a movie. It really does feel like a slice of life bit of film, which there was a lot of, but they could always go for the worst. Like, I think Working Girl is not that good of a film, and that's basically the same thing. This film, Working Girl, is a movie that's trying to create the same thing that this film did, and Working Girl didn't, and this film did. And come on, a documentary on Brooks's career, which is so. There's probably going to be some stuff about Simpsons here, which is great. I love it. I did not know there's an alternate ending to this movie. I'm not sure if oh god, this movie should not have an alternate ending. And okay, video interviews, and that's great. Okay, video interviews with Holly Hunter and Albert Brooks and James L. Brooks, and it's like a featurette containing like on-set footage. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm always looking forward to watching Albert Brooks talk. He's a pretty funny guy. So those were the B's. We finally got away from the B's, and now we start with the C's. There's not much of the C's here. Cat People. See that? That's a good cover. That's a solid cover right there. And that's a great movie. I've already said that this is one of my favorite horror movies ever made. And yeah, it's basically still what I think of it. Okay, so there's like a feature-length documentary on the producer. There's an interview with the director. There's not really a making of documentary on the film, which is kind of sad, but whatever. It's still a great movie. It's in 2K digital restoration. I'll take it. It's probably the scariest film that came out in the 1930s. Not really sure there, but it's strangely sensual and erotic in a very sad way. I'm not sure if that made any sense, but it is. And there are moments where it is kind of funny, while also being sensual and sad. It's an extremely emotionally layered film for a film that came out in the 30s. Also, it has one of the scariest scenes ever made, that includes an extremely darkly lit street and a bus. One of the best scenes in movies ever. Everybody should check that out. And that's about it for that one. And here's the first, the first box set that I talked about was the Before trilogy. Here's the first really, really big box set. Cassavetes, if you are an independent filmmaker, or even a person who wants to like talk about independent filmmaking, or any film that feels like independent filmmaking, Cassavetes, check him out. He's pretty good, and it basically has like his like 5 best movies here: Shadows, Faces, A Woman Under the Influence, The Killing of a Chinese Boogie, Opening Night. God damn, Cassavetes, come on. The fact that he like, the fact that he like casted all the people that he knew in his real life. That's DIY as all hell, man. That's like true DIY stuff. And like there's like a separate DVD here just for like a documentary on him and his movies. And there's like documentaries for each film on like all the separate DVDs. And it's just like that's all you need, really. Like the face and like John Cassavetes 5 films, that's exactly what you need, man. God damn. Like, come on. This is amazing. This is amazing. Like, okay, so apparently this documentary that's in here. Okay, I'm sorry, this was not a DVD. It was a booklet. I'm sorry, that was stupid of me. But anyways, the documentary on him that's on here is supposedly 200 minutes long. Is that longer than Lawrence of Arabia? I'm not really sure, but that's pretty long. I'm still gonna watch it though, because that's how stupid I am with my life and my time. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through every single one of those movies. All I'm gonna say is they all have this really authentic vibe to them. They're very obviously they all have that American New Wave style to it, which is always interesting and exciting. The acting, Gina Rollins, in like a good chunk of those movies, she's so good. She's so good. And like I said, if you're an independent filmmaker, he's totally a guy you need to check out, just to learn what you can do with low budget, what you can do with just people that you know, and what you can do with a small idea, an idea that seems simple on paper, and really kind of expand it into a commentary on the human psyche and the human condition. Really, you need to check that stuff out. And this is the last C. There's not much C's here. Ingmar Bergman, present. Hold on. There's a phone call. 여보세요? 형 지금 영상 찍고 있는데? Sorry about that. Cries and Whispers. Is it his best film from? Is it Bergman's best film from the 70s? It's definitely his most famous one. Okay, admittedly, I haven't seen that many of his movies from the 70s. I've seen most of his movies that he made from the 50s and the 60s. I've seen Fanny and Alexander. I have not seen anything else that he made post Fanny and Alexander. Like, give me a goddamn break, man. I'm still 20 years old. I'm still not 21. I can't drink in America. So, but this is pretty good. Again, there's like there's a text message I don't need to read. I'm getting kind of tired right now. I've talked a lot about these movies at this point. But there's some good shit, man. This is a very striking image, though. That just like that red lighting on the face. That's pretty striking. I like it quite a bit. And it's really when his movies start to, well, no, I guess his movies were always kind of like really strangely abstract and supernatural in a way. But this is a film where he really utilizes it for, again, like sensuality, creating sensuality, and creating a sense of very personal terror. I can totally see this movie like having influence The Shining, or in the more recent example being The Favorite, when it comes to like the way it's shot and the way the whole film looks. I guess Bergman movies, in a way, were kind of all sort of scary. They all had sort of this strange horror aspect to them. Like The Seventh Seal. It's a movie where a guy's trying to escape death. We're going to talk about that later. I did buy The Seventh Seal. The Wild Strawberries is about the guy who's like looking back towards his life and kind of regretting stuff. Hour of the Wolf. That's kind of like basically a straight up horror movie. I think there is a movie that he made. I can't remember the title right now. There's a movie that he made where it involves like a rapist or whatever. Some of his and Fanny and Alexander. There are moments in that film where you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Did that thing just move? That statue just moved? I think that statue just moved. And Cries and Whispers is kind of like a film that sort of embodies all of that. Let's see, what do we have here? Introduction done by Bergman. That's got to be good. Behind the scenes footage. A 52-minute interview with Bergman and his longtime collaborator. There is there is no making of documentary. I'll take the interviews. I'll take the 2K restoration, and I'll take the movie because it's pretty damn good. Let's see. We're done with the C's and on with the D. Let's ride that D. Let's ride that. Let's ride it. Francois Truffaut. Day for Night. The movie where Francois Truffaut was like, filmmaking, movie making, you think it's all fun and games? You think it's all romantic and shit? Fuck you, man. We're gonna peg that shit up the ass and present you a slightly disturbing, depressing, at times sexy and fun, but also extremely rebellious movie about filmmaking. And I love the cover. This cover's great. This is probably done by a cartoonist. I'm going to assume that it's done by a cartoonist, especially the way this character is drawn. It looks a lot like Daria, doesn't it? But I love the look of... this is exactly what I want from like a Criterion cover. And I want to check the artist out. Is the artist here? The artist is not credited. That's a shame. I wish I knew. But anyways, what do we have here? Documentary on the film. Yes, from 2003. Featuring a film scholar. Not as good as featuring Truffaut himself. Maybe he appears, maybe he doesn't, but I'll take it. And anyways, there's like archival interviews with Truffaut and the editors and the actors. That's always great. Okay, archival television footage about the film. It's gotta be good. That's gotta be fun. And it has footage of Truffaut on set. That's gotta be interesting. I don't really know much about Truffaut as a personality. I know that he obviously loved movies. That he has that amazing interview that he did with Hitchcock. I'm not sure what he was like on set. I know he was really good with children. That he really liked children. He cared for children. This movie has nothing to do with that, but that's all I know. Great movie, by the way. Great film. Now some of these movies I bought kind of on a whim. I haven't seen some of these films because I'm a human being and I haven't seen every single film that has been made. But whatever. And I think this is going to be the last one I'm going to be recording for today because my throat is literally dying, and I'll record it probably maybe tomorrow. I'm not too sure, but this is the last one. We're probably just going to stop the timer anyways because it has like a minute and a half left. So yeah, don't look now. Pretty good horror movie. That's an understatement. Again, what can you say? The cover. Look at the cover, man. It's so good. Like, it's blood, but if you look closely, it's a red raincoat. That's the stuff that I'm expecting. That's the standard, man. This is cool. This is some cool shit. And a short. They had to say like a short documentary about the movie. Just say documentary. Just say featurette. I don't care. Don't say short. That's like a guy making a joke about how small his dick is. Just don't do it. Just be confident, man. It's how you use it. Death in Venice, interview with the composer. Yeah, the music is very interesting too. New piece. Okay, so there is a new piece on the film, and there's a whole documentary about Nicholas Roche's style. Again, he's a very interesting director. His movies this is definitely his most famous one, but his movies overall have a very distinct quality to them, so I would like to know about him more as a filmmaker. what else is there? What else is there? A Q&A, sure. That'll be fine. This movie has one of the best sex scenes in... I know that's like a really rough transition, but this film has one of the best sex scenes in movie history. Because it is so uncut. It is so in your face. It lasts probably way too long, but that's the point. Like, in most movies, you're like, oh my god, it's a sex scene. Ooh, exciting. People getting naked. But then in this movie, at first you're like, oh my god, people are getting naked. Julie Christie in the 70s. Ugh. And then it goes on. And it goes on. And it goes on. And you're just like, this is really intimate. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable at this point. And then it keeps going on. And you're just like, make it stop. It's pretty great, and it really was like the first sex scene where I was just like, man, you can make a sex scene like this. You can make it kinda uncomfortable. That's what good directors can do, man. They can make sex uncomfortable, which it probably already is for some people, but in this movie it makes it extra uncomfortable. And this movie it's scary. It's not scary in a very in-your-face way. It's scary in a very subtle, almost sort of a soul horror way. It really kind of gets under your skin, slowly but surely. You have a sense of unease about everything. You're not really sure if you're seeing things or not. You have this extreme sympathy and empathy for the main character, which is why the ending is so effective and so soul-crushing. But yeah, this is pretty good. And this cover, like I said, pretty amazing. Pretty good. And that's going to be about it for now. We have only gone through maybe slightly over 25% of what I bought. Man, I use a lot of money. I'm not even like a trust fund kid. My family's not rich. This all came out from my bank account. This all came out from my savings, the money that I saved since probably middle school. So I have a legitimacy for buying these movies. Just so you know, I'm not leeching off of anybody's life except mine, which I should cherish the most, but I don't.